workmanship. Collins Siding is licensed, bonded, and their estimates always include labor, materials, and applicable permits and taxes. Collins Siding has been providing top quality service and exceeding high standards for over 45 years, and you can find out how by visiting them at 2016 Cherry Avenue. Collins Siding, 2016 Cherry Avenue, Rapid City.
Hi, this is David Brenneman with Coldwell Banker Black Hills Legacy in Rapid City. Have you thought about buying a home or real estate in the Black Hills? Maybe you want to upgrade to your forever home? I have been helping people in the Black Hills find the right home for nearly 20 years. When it comes to buying or selling, experience matters. Let me do the work and you can open the door to your new home. Say hello to a good buy with me, David Brenneman. To get started, just Google David Brenneman, Coldwell Banker.
Get away from it all in the great outdoors for lasting family memories with a new or pre-owned RV from Dakota Discount RV. We make your RV experience fun and easy by providing you with a quality recreational vehicle, competitive pricing, and professional sales and service. Our large inventory of fifth-wheelers, travel trailers, toy haulers, and live-in horse trailers allows us to save our customers thousands of dollars compared to most dealers. Stop by and see us at Dakota Discount RV, 3330 East Mall Drive across from Cabela's and on JB Road, Blackhawk.
Are you thinking about starting or expanding a business? At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, our dedicated business lending team focuses on understanding our members' unique needs and truly wants to help them succeed. From the loans to get your business off the ground to the accounts to keep it running, we offer unique products with your business's best interest in mind. Learn more at bhfcu.com or text or call 605-718-1818. BHFCU is a member-owned, not-for-profit.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
The week as the Steelers and Dolphins made a swap. Pittsburgh gets Jalen Ramsey, the cornerback, tight end Jonnu Smith, and a 7th-round pick. They all go to Pittsburgh. The Dolphins are getting safety Minkah Fitzpatrick and a 5th-round pick as part of the trade. Multiple reports say that the Steelers are not looking to shop T.J. Watt despite receiving calls as Watt has been unhappy with his contract. In the NBA, the Knicks are set to give Mike Brown a second interview for their head coaching vacancy. That's according to ESPN. Nick Batum's back with the Clippers on a 2-year deal. The Jazz and guard Jordan Clarkson have agreed to a buyout. In the NHL, the Florida Panthers have signed Brad Marchand to a 6-year extension, while the WNBA is expanding to 18 teams by 2030, as Cleveland, Detroit, and Philadelphia will all receive franchises. Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, Paige Beckers, just some of the starters named for the WNBA All-Star Game. Carlos Alcaraz, a winner today at Day 1 at Wimbledon. I'm Dan Bob.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, great interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, welcome in. I'm back. Good Monday afternoon. We are back. We were only gone for like 4 days. It seems like an eternity. I know how that goes. It was a little vacation. We're back, and it's always a great day in South Dakota. South Dakota Sports Talk Show ready to go. Glad to be back in the captain's chair and glad you're a part of the program. The Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Radio. Welcome in. South Dakota Sports Talk Show also streaming live. Just follow us on X. You can watch the show live. Welcome you in on X at Nate Brown Show. Also on YouTube, The Nate Brown Show. Stream us live there. So good to go across the state. Hope you had a great week. We were out for the week. I did some sports on my vacation. See, I've got this thing. I've worked a deal with my family. We just choose some sports destinations for vacation, and then everybody's happy. Everybody's happy. You watch Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. You go to the Pacific Northwest. It's just beautiful all the way around. So I'll touch on that just a touch. You know, we don't need to go on vacation mode, but I'll touch on it just a touch from my sports experience. Let's get going tonight. A lot to cover and ready to go. South Dakota Sports Talk Show is on Fox Sports Radio with a great guest lineup. Let's look at it. Craig Maddock's going to join us right out of the gate to kick off the week. Legendary Craig Maddock. Is he on the South Dakota Sports Media Mount Rushmore list? Should I surprise him with my sports media Mount Rushmore list of South Dakota? I might get into some stuff here tonight. Craig Maddox coming up. SDPB Sports live from Sioux Falls. We'll go to Fargo tonight for Mike McFeely. He's in as North Dakota State just announced they're opting into this House settlement. Today's the day. They waited to finish their homework till the last second. They turned in their assignment today, right under the gun. North Dakota State opting into the House settlement, just like South Dakota State, just like USD, just like UND. So the Dakota schools are in. What does that mean? Mike McFeely will join us from Fargo, Inforum.com. We'll go national with Mike Golick Jr. from Golick and Golick on FanDuel Sports Network. Mike Golick Jr. is live tonight, and we'll get to the new head coach of the Rapid City Rush. The Rush Hockey Organization of the ECHL has hired a new general manager and coach. All college experience for this guy. 27 years in the college hockey ranks. Dave Smith. He'll join us coming up later tonight. Monday's show looks good. Great guest lineup. Let's get going. Thought-provoking sports talk, and you can be a part of the show if you want in. Say hi. You haven't done that for a week. All right, 605-720-1067. That's the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline. Powered by the Pizza Ranch with 2 locations in Rapid City, also at East 10th Street in Sioux Falls. Stop by tonight in Brandon. That's the Pizza Ranch, home of everyone's favorite buffet by far. The Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline, 605-720-1067. Barron's Wilson text line, also a way you can contribute. Text the show directly, 605-720-1067. So there's your numbers. Call or text the show. All right. Here's one thing I want to start with today. You're gone for a week, and it seems like for everybody, like, what happened in sports? We're going to get something to something that happened last week, but I want to stay on something that happened over the weekend. This is what everybody's kind of debating now. The buzz of South Dakota sports is dragging ESPN into the mud and saying ESPN has no clue about South Dakota sports. They have no clue about Custer State Park. What am I talking about? Have you seen this? I'm watching on the plane as I'm coming back ESPN Sports Center. And yes, I watch Sports Center. Don't drag me for that. I watch Sports Center. You have to. It's still well done. I especially watch SVP. Scott Van Pelt's outstanding. So I'm watching Sports Center, and they've done their 50 states now in 50 days. They're doing this run across the country. So where does Sports Center come over the weekend? To Rapid City, to the Black Hills, and they do some features on South Dakota sports. They stopped by the BMX Nationals. That was a big event over the weekend in Rapid City. How about Rapid City BMX hosting the Nationals, getting coverage from ESPN? So that was big. Then they went to, I said, Custer State Park, and they are getting hit on this. They are getting punched. The reporter called it Custer National Park. Let's give her a break. Should I give her a break on that? Can we give her a break? I do a 2-hour sports show. I screw up every day. How many times a day? It's up to you, but she's going to get a break from me on that. Why? People have said, you can't say Custer National Park. You don't have a clue. You don't have a clue about it's Custer State Park. I'm just telling you, she probably doesn't have a clue. She's been to South Dakota how many times? Who knows? We got coverage from ESPN. The state of South Dakota, one of the great places in the state, Custer State Park, got great coverage. So let's not hit her on social media with keyboard warriors. We're just absolutely smacking them that she called it Custer National Park on her stand-in during her report. She called it Custer National Park. I get it, but let's get to the real story. The real controversy, what is it? They went, because they're in South Dakota, ESPN did a South Dakota sports legend Mount Rushmore list. And everybody's acting like this is the first list we've ever seen of South Dakota sports legends. We were on this thing over 5 years ago. I had my great discussion with my unpaid production staff. This was one of our top controversies and top debates. Who is on your South Dakota sports legends Mount Rushmore list? And now I'm seeing media members across the state unveil their Mount Rushmore list for like the first time because ESPN did their list. And the real controversy is ESPN's list is dicey. Can we admit that? So ESPN did their South Dakota sports Mount Rushmore list. And if you missed it, I'll recap it here, and then I'll get to the big question of the day is who should really be on the South Dakota Sports Mount Rushmore list. Because I've been on this over 5 years. We started doing these segments, started with South Dakota sports legends, then we've broken off into all sorts of things. Quarterbacks, best Vikings. I mean, who would be on your Mount Rushmore list? It's an absolute beautiful thing. I love the debate. ESPN's Mount Rushmore list of South Dakota. Did you see who they put on it? Adam Vinatieri. Book it. I like it. You have to. I've seen people leave Adam Vinatieri off their list. What are you thinking? Are you guys awake? What's going on? Adam Vinatieri, no question, no doubt. Top kicker of all time? I mean, it's going to be a Hall of Famer. Lock that. I mean, you can lock it. Super Bowl champion, part of the dynasty of the Patriots. So Adam Vinatieri, got him. They also went Becky Hammon. What she did for women's basketball and now coaching in the NBA and the WNBA. So Becky Hammon is a Mount Rushmore face, no doubt. So those are my two. They're on my list as well. They had two people on ESPN last night that are not on my list. How could that be? I've been in South Dakota over 20 years. How could that be? I've been, 25 years? Amazing. My 25-year anniversary? This is amazing. Okay. How can they have two guys on the ESPN list, and I don't even have them on my list? They're a little ways down on my list. I wouldn't put their face up there. You only got room for 4. So my other two, you guys know my two now, right? You know I went with Billy Mills. You have to put Billy Mills out of Pine Ridge, the Olympic gold medalist, 10,000 meters, 1964. So you have to, gold medalist like that, Billy Mills, and he's just been an unbelievable person, an ambassador for South Dakota and Pine Ridge. So Billy Mills, no doubt, they didn't put him on there. That's a big miss. And then my fourth is Mike Miller, and you have to put Mike Miller. I was looking at it. It's a debate there for me. Is Mike Miller getting in my last slot? Should that be reserved for somebody else? There's a debate, I think, on the fourth spot. If you actually had to put it together, you got to go Vinatieri, you got to go Becky Hammon. I just believe for what Becky did on the female side for basketball and how famous she is and the career she's had coaching now, that's where you got to go. And then I say Billy Mills, from who he is, what he did from Pine Ridge, outstanding. And the fourth spot, I say Mike Miller now, not just because, he was an NBA player. He's an NBA champion. He was a great college player. We're talking Final Four. He was a Rookie of the Year in the NBA. So Mike Miller's basketball career, I think, dwarfs other pro athletes' careers. I know about Eric Pietkowski from Rapid City. Great. Had a long career. Not Mike Miller career. If we're honest, not Mike Miller career. Great career for Pietkowski, but not Mike Miller. John Dutton, you go back to the NFL a little bit, out of Rapid City. Really, really good. What about Chad Greenway? Now you're starting to get into a spot. Does Greenway deserve a spot over Mike Miller? I say no, and then you go to these other sports that people may not know as much about, but if you look up the history, you got to tell the kids today, look up the history. Is there any bigger rodeo star or celebrity than Casey Tibbs? You may not think Casey Tibbs, big sports star? Look up Casey Tibbs and get back to me, because he has a legitimate argument. Okay, so I've mentioned some. Who did ESPN put up there? Becky Hammon, Adam Vinatieri. They went with Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar, I'm not going to mess with him. I'm not going to make fun of him at all. Brock Lesnar, very huge brand. That's a big brand. And it's not just the fake wrestling brand. He was a great wrestler himself. I'm not talking, don't get lost in the WWE. So don't laugh at ESPN too much tonight. Not too much, because he was a great wrestler first. Then he became a WWE superstar. And he is a superstar. I'm not a WWE guy. Maybe you guys are, but you have to understand, Brock Lesnar is the real deal. He's okay for me. He's down my list. I can't put Brock Lesnar. If I got another spot for a face, I'm not going to put Brock Lesnar over Casey Tibbs. I just can't do that. So no Brock Lesnar for me. ESPN had him on theirs in the Final Four. And then the last one, this is the argument people don't like. They put Terry Francona on there last night. So ESPN doing their South Dakota Sports Mount Rushmore. Maybe they had a production meeting on it and they just went through who's from South Dakota, who was born in South Dakota. Bing, bing, bing. I don't think they put as much thought into it as we have on the Nate Brown Show, honestly. We put some thought into this over 5 years ago. Who should really be on there? And we went through some of the sports legends. I haven't even mentioned them all. So Terry Francona was born in Aberdeen, but didn't even live in South Dakota hardly at all. So I can't really, you're born, can't really go there. People have said, what about Josh Heupel? Josh Heupel, think about that. What about Kalen DeBoer now? Went to the national championship game for Washington, now at Alabama. Yeah, I'd think about that. They're not over some of these huge names like Casey Tibbs, legend. I mean, just an absolute legend. Can't even go over Brock Lesnar myself. I wouldn't put Lesnar on South Dakota Sports Mount Rushmore, but he's closer than you think from his brand and his athletic achievements. Great wrestler, and now essentially a WWE brand superstar. So I'll ask you, 605-720-1067. That is the Barron's Wilson text line. Also the Pizza Ranch studio hotline, if we can do that. 605-720-1067. I always have to ask for permission if I can take calls. Okay, we'll see. If you could add a person to my Mount Rushmore list. See, I'm saying mine. I've got mine locked. Mike Miller, Becky Hammon, Adam Vinatieri, Billy Mills. There's my list. It is the same exact list of the famous Stu Whitney. You may have heard of him. It's the same exact list of the famous Stu Whitney, and we did not talk to each other. So I've asked Stu for his list. I was on this before ESPN. Give us a little credit on South Dakota Sports Talk Show. We have some great sports legends from South Dakota, and honestly, it's really a lot of fun when you think about it. You go back, who deserves to be on this? It's not just a time filler, it's an actual history lesson, and you can kind of learn things about Frank Leahy, the great coach from Winter, coached at Notre Dame. I mean, just an unbelievable run he had. So you learn so much, and I love the history side of it. So I'm going to ask you, if you could add a person to my list, who is missing? Who is missing? What about the great Sparky Anderson? You may think, Sparky Anderson, should he be over Terry Francona? They just did the deal on ESPN last night, and they put Terry Francona over Sparky Anderson. Sparky's a Hall of Famer, and he won World Series titles in the National League and the American League. I mean, that's pretty good. So I think Sparky deserves some love. Casey Tibbs deserves some love. I will say Chad Greenway with his career, really, really good. Maybe didn't reach the pinnacle, didn't win a title like Mike Miller. Now, Mike Miller got himself in a good situation with the Heat, right? He was with LeBron and the guys, so they won with the Heat. Mike Miller, though, was performing at a high level all the way from Florida, went to the Final Four. Do you remember this? Mike Miller to the Final Four at Florida, went to Rookie of the Year, went to some great teams in the NBA, won a title. So Chad Greenway, great career, super player. Greenway probably deserves an argument, so I'll throw him on this. Casey Tibbs, maybe Brock Lesnar, and whoever else you think should be on there. You gotta think on this a little bit. 605-720-1067. Please think longer than ESPN did when they filled in Terry Francona. Terry, you're great. I mean, he's fine. He's won, too. I get it. He's won. He's a good manager. He had a cup of coffee in Aberdeen when he was born. That's it. I can't do it. So ESPN missed on that. By the way, they don't really care. They don't care that they said Custer National Park. They don't care. They just wanted to get the segment over with. Let's put Terry Francona in. He looks good. They missed. We're not missing on the Nate Brown Show, okay? Let's see if we can take one here. Thanks for calling. You're live, and you go ahead.
Mike Miller won an NCAA title at Florida.
Did Florida win? Did they win?
Yeah, they won, Nate.
Okay, I knew they were in the Final Four. Okay, that's good. That even helps me out even more.
It's funny you mentioned Mike Miller. My favorite Paul Sterling story is when he was at Mitchell, Mike Miller came into the office and he goes, "Why did you choose Florida?" He goes, "Coach, I'm going to go to Florida, be an All-American, win a national championship, and then I'm going to the NBA."
Wow.
Bam.
Wow. That's interesting.
Yep.
That's great. So Mike Miller's on your list. Is he on your list?
Oh, yeah, and Billy Mills. How in the heck? A world record holder at the time.
Yes.
World
You have
record
to.
holder.
You have to. Who else? Billy
And
Mills,
who
Mike
would have
Miller?
thought Billy Mills? Nobody else would have, but Billy Mills.
No, right.
He's got to be up there. He should be,
Who
right where
else?
George is.
Who else? Adam Vinatieri
Yes.
and Becky Hammond.
I'm not so hip on Becky.
All right.
Throw in politics and that kind of irked me there, but yeah, I just think, that's a good one though. I like Chad Greenway.
All right. I appreciate
Never
you.
been to prison, never got arrested, didn't visit massage parlors.
That's a good start.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate
Have a great
it.
day, Nate.
All right. Thanks for getting on. You give me your list. That was a strong finish to his list. Interesting. Let's see. Who would be on your Mount Rushmore? ESPN missed. I mean, they got Becky Hammond, Adam Vinatieri, no doubt, to me. And I went Mike Miller. I went Billy Mills. They did not. Terry Francona. There's some other people to put in there. Sparky Anderson, you got to think about. Casey Tibbs, for me, is really, really close. You just look at the history of Casey Tibbs. I'm not a rodeo guy. I don't know anything about rodeo. But you find the history of Casey Tibbs. He was a huge star back in the day. Thanks for calling. You're live, and you go ahead. Hello. Hello, you're on.
Oh, hey. Well, I just want to correct the last caller. Mike Miller didn't win a title in college. They got second to Michigan State.
Okay. I'm all confused today. I need some good information. All right. So I had it right. Final four. All right.
But I think Billy Mills is definitely a no-brainer. Certainly what Mike Miller has done is impressive. I think the reason they may have, like, Brock Lesnar is he was a world champion in the heavyweight division. I'm talking in the UFC.
Correct.
So a real sport. And
Correct.
he was for a period of time, he was the best at what he did. And I guess you probably maybe can't make that argument with Mike Miller that he was the best player in the NBA at any particular time.
Sure.
But I'm certainly probably more of a Mike Miller fan, and I think it's probably more difficult on what he did. But when you look at Casey Tibbs, I think he was probably the best at what he did, and so was Brock Lesnar. So certainly Francona shouldn't be on there. I don't think anybody in South Dakota is going to debate that.
All right, man. I appreciate you. Thanks for getting on. Thanks for calling in. So that's interesting. So I had it. Mike Miller. I was going to say Mike Miller didn't win a national title. He made a Final Four and then the championship game. Okay, fair and balanced here. By the way, let's see. Who would you put on there? Listener text. Sparky Anderson left South Dakota at the age of 8. Can't count him either. Well, I can count him. I was hitting dingers in Little League Baseball at 8 years old. So you can count Sparky, right? One more on this. My Mount Rushmore is Adam Vinatieri, Becky Hammond, Billy Mills, Mike Miller. Who is missing? Thanks for calling. You're live, and you go ahead.
Hi, Nate. How about Mark Ellis?
Oh, that was a Mark Ellis impact. That was a Mark Ellis. I think that was like a 3-vote, but I got your call. So you said Mark Ellis. Thanks for calling. You had an echo on that. But Mark Ellis, very, very good. Another great career. Could you compare Mark Ellis's career in Major League Baseball to Mike Miller's? Close. Not quite to me. I think Mike Miller from college to the NBA won a lot of games, was in some high-level games, Rookie of the Year. I mean, people remember that. Mike Miller was co-Rookie of the Year in the NBA. So, Mark Ellis, solid. Good one to mention. I got another one here. Randy Lewis. Randy Lewis, great wrestler. Can't quite put him in the same category as Billy Mills when it comes to the Olympic stuff. Randy Lewis won, but it was a different year, and really, really good. Unbelievable. I mean, you can't look down on these guys. So the point of this whole exercise today, the point of this, ESPN's a little bit clueless about Custer National Park and a little bit clueless on a couple of their Mount Rushmores because we have a ton of candidates. Okay, who does Craig Maddock put in? He's been in South Dakota a long time. Craig Maddock's never done his South Dakota sports Mount Rushmore list. So he's doing it next on The Nate Brown Show.
This is The Nate Brown Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share. To revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Your home deserves a better hello. Swing into summer with a brand new entry or patio door. Get 20% off every door plus no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. Enjoy an extra 5% off your entire project if purchased on initial consultation. That's up to 25% in savings on an upgrade your home will thank you for. But hurry, these hot summer deals won't last long. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps 1 minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
Beats it. The food, the drinks, the atmosphere. Whether you're soaking up sunshine on the patio or hanging inside with friends, Murphy's brings the good vibes all season long. Amazing food, cold beers, summer cocktails, live music on the patio, a crew that treats you right, and yes, even a late night menu every Friday and Saturday night. When you're thinking summer in Rapid City, there's only one move, Murphy's. Visit murphyspubandgrill.com. Murphy's, a Rapid City icon.
The best selection of new trucks in western South Dakota is at Danny Menho Rapid Chevrolet. Shop nearly 30 new Silverado half tons. Save over $10,000 off MSRP on a new 25 Crew Cab 4x4. Shop over 40 sport utilities, most with exclusive Danny Menho discounts. See us at Danny Menho Rapid Chevrolet or DannyMenhoRapidChevrolet.com. Together, let's drive. Includes all rebates to dealer must qualify for 2,500 Chevy owner loyalty at 2250 Chevy trade assistance. See dealer for qualification details. Offer expires 6/30/25.
In the past, if you needed auto body repair, you had to get multiple estimates and then try to get your car into a shop for repair. Well, not anymore. In most cases, you can stop by one shop, get your estimate, and schedule your car for a repair. The question now becomes which shop you choose. If you like quality, choose J&J Truck and Auto Body. They have ASE, PPG, and Gold iCar certifications that allow them to offer you a nationwide warranty. And they'll work with your insurance company so you're pleased with the outcome. J&J Truck and Auto Body, 1513 East Philadelphia.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown.
Hey, welcome back in. Hope you're having a good start to the week. We're just getting going on a Monday. We are glad to be back on South Dakota's sports talk show. Spent a week in Seattle in the Pacific Northwest. Couple of nights in Seattle. Did the Caitlin Clark Indiana Fever experience. That was great. We've done that 2 years in a row. And I'm going to speak on the Caitlin Clark impact just up close and personal. I went to 2 road games now, and I'm gonna speak on that coming up. It's a great time. Pacific Northwest, San Juan Islands, underrated. If you haven't been there, if you're like, I'm going to go to an island, San Juan Islands, book it, okay? It's good stuff. Craig Maddox on tonight, South Dakota Sports Talk Show, as we're back on Fox Sports Radio. Craig, welcome in. How are you tonight?
Hey, I'm great. I'm glad you've got a voice left after screaming for Caitlin Clark.
That's right.
Screaming like a little girl.
That's right. I didn't have to, but my daughter got an autograph. We got an autograph, Craig.
That's great. That is great.
That's 2 years in a row. 2 years in a row. So they're excited. Hey, I've got something for you tonight, and we've never done this on this show, so I thought, man, Craig, a friend of mine, we've talked over the years. We haven't had him unveil his South Dakota Sports Mount Rushmore list. It's summertime. You got to do it because ESPN just visited the Black Hills over the weekend, and they said, hey, when you're in South Dakota, we got to put out our South Dakota Sports Mount Rushmore list like it's an original thing from ESPN. This is a thing we've been on. They put some guys on there that I don't think should be. Terry Francona, not on my list. Brock Lesnar, close for me, not on my list. They went Adam Vinatieri. They went Becky Hammon. Those 2 are on my list, so I invited you on, Craig, to say who should be on the South Dakota Craig Maddox Sports Mount Rushmore list. And if you look through this, if you do this exercise, really a lot of good sports figures from South Dakota.
You're absolutely correct. Virtually all of them are West River talent. I just wanted to bring that out right away for you, Mr. Brown.
That is
virtually
correct.
Everyone we're talking about, they're all West River plants, which is good. Here's the deal. I mean, I've done this in my previous sports talk radio life over the past 30 years. But you know what? To decide who makes the Mount Rushmore list, you have to have a qualification list. You have to determine what makes someone to be on the Mount Rushmore. You know, and I've got 3 sets of what they need to be if they're going to make that list. One, they have to be born and raised. Right?
Born and raised.
They got to be born and raised in South Dakota.
Okay.
Right? Would you agree to that?
For the most part, yes. Does raised count staying here till you're 8?
No, it does not. So Sparky Anderson is out. Terry Francona, give me a break. Boston and New York people, give me a break. No. Number 2, it has to be national accomplishments.
I like that. Yes.
We can't just do, state titles in South Dakota.
No,
okay?
Correct.
So it's got to be national accomplishments. And number 3, I take individual national accomplishments over team national accomplishments. I mean, I like Mike Miller, but if he didn't have LeBron on his team when he won a title, does that change the thoughts of where he winds up?
Oh boy, I didn't think
about
Craig
Becky
Maddox.
Hammon. How come Becky Hammon didn't win any titles?
Wow, I thought
As
Craig
a player,
Maddox. I thought you were a team guy, not a me guy.
I'm just bringing that. You have to have some sort of a list.
Okay,
of
all right.
what it takes to make that list.
Wow, so now you're giving me a little insight into your list. Might be a little different than mine. Might be a little different.
I sure hope I don't speak out of both sides of my mouth either. So here's my honorable mention list.
Honorable mention. Okay.
Honorable mention. Unless the federal government comes up with more money to put more faces on the mountains. I got Mark Ellis, Brock Lesnar, Eric Piatkowski, Chris Cheddar. She had 1 title as a pro. Dave Collins, Josh Heupel, Dick Green. All these West River people. What is going on, Mr. Brown?
Would you put Kalen DeBoer in there yet? Kalen DeBoer?
I would not.
You would not. You would not.
No, too early. Casey Tibbs. I also have Dennis Kozlowski. I mean, come on, the guy won a silver and a bronze in the Olympics.
Okay.
I mean, that says something, right?
By the way, you just hang on a second. You just passed over Casey Tibbs. You just mentioned him briefly like he was just a thought. Casey Tibbs, I'm not a rodeo expert at all, But I was talking to a buddy of mine from South Dakota, and he knows rodeo, and he said Casey
Well, you would
Tibbs
know
has
Casey
to be
Tibbs.
there.
He would know. If you're in the rodeo
Yes.
circles, you would absolutely know who Casey is. But if you're not in the rodeo circles, I don't think his name is going to be mentioned, even though his accomplishments individually are right there, and maybe he should be there.
Okay.
So here you go. Here's what, and I'm going to debate between Becky Hammon and Mike Miller who's going to be there.
Okay.
And when I look at what Mike Miller has done individually, 17 years in the NBA, first round pick in the draft, 5th overall, a 2-time champ. But again, I mean, if you didn't have LeBron on his team, would they have won the title?
Yes, but, no, they wouldn't have because Mike hit the threes. Mike hit
That's
the
right,
threes.
Because he was 6th man of the year, too.
Yes,
So,
yes.
I mean, I got to think all of the accomplishments that he has, even though some of it was team-oriented, I'm going to put Mike Miller there on my list.
Wow, you were trying to take Mike off, and then you all of a sudden put him on. Okay, I'm with you. I got Mike on my list.
I love Becky Hammon. I really do. But I had to compare Becky and Mike. Accomplishments. Okay, she's a coach now. She's won a couple of titles. She was a great player. 2,000 points in the WNBA. But she didn't get any titles or things like that. I mean, that's what you got to have some sort of a standard of individual accomplishments if you're going to make this list.
I think her hire as an NBA coach, and I know as an assistant, but her hire, I think, elevated her at the time. You weren't having female coaches. She blazed that trail. I think that's a big one. I think it's a big one.
All right. So there's I had to choose between those two.
Okay.
I do have Adam Vinatieri on there. I know he was with the Patriots or the Colts, and they had really good teams, but he still had to kick the ball to win Super Bowls.
Yes.
All-time
points leader.
Just in his career. So I had to throw Adam in there, even though it's more of a team sport than the individual accomplishments.
Yep, I'm with you on that.
Okay.
So I got Adam, I got Mike. Are you gonna go different here on the next two?
You and I do agree with probably the top spot, and that's Billy Mills, no doubt.
Yes,
Billy Mills should be there, and I'll give you a little tease. I'm scheduled to talk with Billy here in the next month or so.
Wow.
So hopefully things work out. By the way, happy birthday today, Billy Mills, turning 87 today.
Oh, big time.
Yes. And so that leaves with one other. And I really went and I looked, and I have felt this for a long time, that he has been left out a lot of this talk of being on Mount Rushmore. But when you look at what he did, he had one of the largest national experiences. In fact, what he did was the first nationally televised TV event from South Dakota. He was a part of it. And then eventually went on and won the gold medal. I got Randy Lewis.
You do.
I have Randy Lewis as on the Mount Rushmore. That wrestling event with the Russians from the Rushmore Plaza Civic Center prior to the Olympics was the first nationally televised TV sporting event from South Dakota. And he beat the Russian. And we knew how we liked the Russians back then. And then went on to win a gold medal in the Olympics, something that no other South Dakotan has done on the gold medal before. So I've got Randy Lewis on there and what he did for the sport as well. So those are my four for the mountain.
Okay, so you put Randy Lewis on instead of Becky Hammon. That's the difference between mine and yours. So
he won a gold medal in the Olympics.
Yeah, it's a big one. No, it's a big one.
It's a big one.
He was a 2-time Olympian and then won a gold medal. And by the way, a 4-time All-American at Iowa. Yep. Yes, 4-time All-American.
Yep.
So
Becky was, I think, a 3-time All-American in basketball at Colorado State. But again, if you got to start getting a little picky on who you're going to put up there. It's just not a name. It's got to be what were their accomplishments. And then, unfortunately, we only have 4 spots.
Is Chad Greenway close to you?
No.
He's not. Did he make your honorable mention list?
Well, as a Vikings season ticket holder, he should be making my list, but no, he did not.
Here's a couple that people have thrown out, Craig, okay? And a couple of that, I've had on my radar, but I didn't put them in. Frank Leahy, great coach at Notre Dame out of Winter. Frank Leahy, unbelievable coach. Here's another one, Jim Langer, center for the Dolphins.
Grew up in Minnesota, born in Minnesota, went to SDSU.
Yes. So they said SDSU All-American, and then the center for the Dolphins, 17-0 season. So, yes, I'm with you. You say you got to be born and raised in South Dakota, so that's your criteria. So no Sparky Anderson. He stayed. He was here till 8.
No.
Come on.
No, who knows? Maybe somebody flew over the state for an hour. I mean, are they going to be included too?
All right, very nice. No Brock Lesnar.
Well, it was college wrestling. I'm not
and UFC,
going into the entertainment part. That's not a. I'm not going on that one.
All right. I'm trying to just see, but that's a solid list.
By the way, he was number 69 for the Minnesota Vikings. And saw him play once, and one time during the season when I go there's always one person who has a Brock Lesnar jersey on.
Wow.
That I see at the game, but no, I would not put Brock there.
Okay, what an exercise! That's why I wanted to do it. Craig Maddock on tonight, SDPB Sports, and you just gave us a little teaser, Craig. You're gonna have Billy Mills soon, you hope.
We have talked. We have decided when to talk, and we're hoping that I don't have to go out to California to talk to him. But if I have to, I will. So, he is scheduled to be in the Black Hills coming up in September. He's going to be in Spearfish and in Rapid. They got the Festival of Books coming up in September, and he will be in the hills coming up this fall.
All right, very good. Craig Maddock, SDPB Sports. His podcast is called In Play, and his Mount Rushmore list. Leave it to a Sioux Falls guy to put a Rapid City guy, Randy Lewis, on the list.
West River people. I can't believe it. It's all it is West River athletes.
You're so kind, Craig. I appreciate you as always. Thanks for coming on.
All right, Dave.
Appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Craig Maddock on tonight, SDPB Sports. The podcast is In Play. We got a little hitter there. Billy Mills. Looking to talk with Billy Mills. Billy Mills' birthday today, 87 years old. 87 years old. World record holder at the time. 10,000-meter gold medal champion, 1964 Olympics out of Pine Ridge. Listener text coming in. Some more suggestions. Eric Piatkowski. Yeah, and I can't do Eric because he wasn't as good as Mike Miller on the career. I mean, we just have to be honest on that. I interviewed Eric Piatkowski a long time ago. Had a great discussion with him. Great at Nebraska. I mean, so he had a nice career, no doubt. Long career, just not the level of Mike Miller. So that's why I passed over Piatkowski. Listener text, the only player to ever pinch hit for Ted Williams from South Dakota, Carroll Hardy. It's a nice South Dakota sports lesson. I like that. Listener text, Derek Miles, 3-time Olympian, bronze pole vaulter. But I'm biased. He's in my family. Oh, that's a good one, though. I like it. You got to stick up for family, right? I just was on vacation with family for a week, so I'm taking... Anyway, good stuff. If you could put somebody on my Mount Rushmore list, who would it be? Let's take a look at the poll. I've got Adam Vinatieri, Becky Hammond, Mike Miller, Billy Mills. That's my list on the Nate Brown Show, okay? What face should be there? Who would you put on? 35% of you have voted tonight on Twitter for Chad Greenway. 31% of you say Brock Lesnar. 20% of you say Casey Tibbs. So there's the other 3 that people are voting for. You tell me. 605-720-1067 if you want to text your Mount Rushmore South Dakota list. I'm sure it's better than ESPN's anyway. Mike McFeely next, Inforum.com. Great guest from Fargo. What's going on with North Dakota State? They waited till the last minute to make a decision today. Coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
We're fired up for the 4th at Fleet Farm with deals that'll help you celebrate in style. Save $200 on a Traeger Woodridge pellet grill. On sale now for $699.99. Stay hydrated with 8 packs of Gatorade, 2 for $15. And get 1-gallon 4-packs of Liquid Pool Shock for just $14.99. Get ready for Independence Day with these specials and more at your local Fleet Farm. And check out all the items in our weekly ad, backed by our best price guarantee at fleetfarm.com.
At Dakota Bank, we're more than just a place to bank. We're your neighbors. From everyday banking to home mortgages, insurance, and trust services, we're here for every step of your financial journey. We believe in doing what's right for you because we live here, work here, and care about our communities just like you do. Go with confidence, go with trust, go with Dakota Bank. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Insurance and investment products are not FDIC insured, may lose value, and have no bank guarantee.
Hey golfers, have you experienced Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club? Golf Digest ranked Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club the #1 public course in South Dakota. Off Exit 17 in Spearfish, Elkhorn Ridge offers a golfing experience second to none. Play their 18-hole championship layout with your buddies. Stop into Miller Creek Pub for some drinks, or bring the family out for lunch and try out the new putting green right below Miller Creek Pub. Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club has it all. Book your next tee time at elkhornridgeresort.com.
Hi, folks. Kevin McPherson, McPherson Auction Company. On today's online-only auction, a surplus reduction at the Barber Ranch, 8.7 miles east of the Hart Ranch, Lower Spring Creek Road, south of Rapid City. On the auction, here's a Case SR 250 skid steer, 3 Amish-built sheds, shipping containers, livestock equipment, electric fence posts and chargers, several 20-foot freestanding oil field livestock panels. Final auction preview this afternoon from 3 to 5. Auction begins to close at 6 p.m. For more auction details and to bid and buy, go to McPhersonAuction.com.
Eating in Deadwood has so many options thanks to Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort. Wake up with the trusted taste of Starbucks or sit down to a full breakfast at Best Brews. Looking for lunch? Build a wonderfully fresh sandwich from Jersey Mike's. Grab some quick and cheesy goodness from Pizza Hut or pull up a chair in Patty O'Neill's Irish Pub. Need something a little more intimate for dinner? Well, Snitches is all the buzz with an evolving menu of chef-designed culinary creations. There's something for everyone to eat at Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort, located on historic Main Street in Deadwood.
Whether you run the race, make the catch, cast a line, pitch a tent, or just look good doing it, Shields Rapid City has your gear. From athletic clothing from your favorite team, cold weather gear to keep you warm, to the best camping selection this side of the Black Hills, and the most stylish and functional women's outerwear and footwear, Shields has the widest selection of the best brands in the business. So when you're ready to get out, get in the game, or get going, get to Shields. Shields, we're right there with you at Rushmore Crossing in Rapid City.
Where can you get surprisingly great rates on auto and renter's insurance? At State Farm. I'm State Farm Agent Matt McCormick, and I'm your one-stop shop in Rapid City for protecting your car and your stuff for surprisingly great rates. So stop looking around. Call me, State Farm Agent Matt McCormick, for surprisingly great auto and renter's rates today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show, also streaming right now on X. Follow us and watch the show live at Nate Brown Show.
Hey, welcome back in. Just getting going tonight. Yeah, we're in this first hour rolling. Thanks for being here, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Glad to be back. A week off. Am I going to get any other summer vacation this year? I'm asking nobody. Anybody going to care? All right. We had a great trip last week. Glad to be back. Coming up, Mike Golick Jr. is on tap tonight. FanDuel Sports Network. His show's Golick and Golick every day. And he'll join us on the Nate Brown Show talking college and NFL. Some interesting headlines there. Mike Golick Jr. is on tap. What's on tap on the Nate Brown Show, brought to you by the new Campfire Bar. Home for 20 South Dakota brews on tap right now inside the new Mr. Liquor 2 off Catron Boulevard. That's the Campfire Bar. Patio open tonight. Mike McFeely's in tonight. Columnist, Inforum.com. Mike, welcome back on. How are you?
The Campfire Bar sounds cozy and enjoyable. That's what's up.
Very nice.
I need to get to Rapid City. I need to get out there. I keep saying that. Never been.
Oh, my gosh.
I need to get out there and check it out.
Man, I think you've told me that, and then it just, blew outside my brain. That's a regular occurrence. But you got to get to the Black Hills. Unbelievable. Okay, we'll make that plan. Let me ask you right out of the gate, North Dakota State decides to opt in to the NCAA House settlement. I'm going to get into what fans may think of this or not know of this. Why do you think they waited till the last day?
Oh, I think was legitimate concern that they had up until the couple prior weeks about what would happen to roster limits. The final settlement wasn't okayed until June 6th, and then it took them a couple weeks, I think, to figure out what they wanted to do. And I think the timing of it was just such that people were on vacations and all the summer stuff going on. I'm sure they didn't want to do it last Friday when the other schools did it, just because it was a Friday afternoon. So nobody wants to get called into a press conference on a Friday afternoon. So they waited until Monday. I don't think there's any other deep strategy behind it other than just it's the way the timing worked out. I mean, I think South Dakota State waited until Friday.
Yeah.
So it's one more business day than North Dakota State waited. So I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Now, in the sports media side, I've covered this, and I said, okay, what does this mean if you opt in? And there's going to be some revenue sharing with players, and how is this going to work for the FCS-level schools? I'm going to start with, do you think this is a big deal at all for North Dakota State, South Dakota State, USD, UND to opt in?
I think it's a big deal from the standpoint of the roster limits, and that's one of the reasons why North Dakota State ended up opting in, is because they changed the roster limits to where teams get grandfathered in, athletes get grandfathered in. But eventually, in football, for example, it's going to be a hard roster limit of 105. That means that there's going to be basically 20 fewer walk-ons at a place like North Dakota State, South Dakota. And I think if you look at the history of those programs, Cody Mauk was a walk-on at North Dakota State. Joe Hag was a walk-on at North Dakota State. Dallas Goddard was a walk-on at South Dakota State. I think Gus Miller was a walk-on at South Dakota State. And so the top programs have always thrived on finding those under-recruited, maybe they're not quite grown yet young men who then grow into All-American type players. There's going to be fewer chances of that happening, I think, in FCS going forward and at FBS, with basically about 20 fewer walk-on spots available in the future.
Mike McFeely joining us, columnist, Inforum.com. He's here on the Nate Brown Show. Glad to have him. North Dakota State announced today they're opting into the NCAA House settlement, just like SDSU, just like USD. So the revenue sharing, here's what I wonder. There's not going to be a bunch of money shared with the athletes at these types of schools. I can't imagine that with their budgets. What do you think?
No, I think essentially, I think at the Power 4 schools, I think revenue sharing is the proper term. And I know that's the official term that people are using, but I think in FCS and even the Group of Five, I think in-house NIL is probably the more proper term. One of the reasons North Dakota State made this move, according to Matt Larson, the athletic director today, was it allowed them to move the NIL stuff in-house so that North Dakota State can raise the money, donors can give to North Dakota State. They get a tax break, which for wealthy people like Nate Brown is a big deal because they can get it's tax deductible if you give to a university. It is not tax deductible if you give it to an outside collective. And so I think just the rules around the collective changed with the House settlement. And so it's, I think, more efficient and probably a better way of doing things is to just bring that NIL in-house, and that'll make it easier for the North Dakota States and South Dakota States of the world. The one thing that Matt Larson, the AD at NDSU, said multiple times over the last couple of weeks is that he believes that schools that did not have robust collectives, that just couldn't raise money, they didn't have a good collective, they couldn't raise the money, they like bringing it in-house because they'll be able to shift around some institutional money that they can then call NIL.
Yeah.
I don't think that'll be an issue for NDSU. I think their collective was fairly robust, and they'll be able to. They've always done a great job of raising money. They have a great donor base, multiple wealthy people willing to give money to North Dakota State. But I think in some cases, if you're maybe looking at the bottom of the Missouri Valley Football Conference, the bottom half for sure, I don't know how much money they raised in their collectives, and so they're going to be able to use some institutional money to pay those student athletes.
Yeah. I think ultimately, do you think this makes it easier for donors, boosters to say, okay, I'm getting hit here for donations, but now it's only from the school, not from this collective. Do you think this does help that? The universities think this is going to be easier for them. Do you think it actually elevates the donor giving potentially?
I mean, I think there's, aside from the tax-deductible thing, which, again, to wealthy people is a big deal. If you're going to give $100,000, you want to make that a tax deduction. I wouldn't know about that, but I guess that's a big deal for wealthy people. The other part of it is, you're right. I think that there were a lot of questions about what exactly collectives were. What does it mean? Where does the money go? I mean, all these different questions. I think that for a donor, I would make the assumption that if you're dealing with people that you already know and you already deal with them, if it's the athletic director, if it's the football coach, if it's the basketball coach, if it is the major donor fundraising guy, you already know those people anyway. You know you're giving your money to a state university. You know you're giving it to the institution. I think it just makes people more comfortable to give straight to the school as opposed to a third party.
Yeah, I think so. Mike McFeely on tonight. Before I let you run, a little conference realignment for you. You love this. Texas State.
I do.
Okay. Texas State's going to go Pac-12. Texas State, Pac-12. So can I convince you that North Dakota State can just wait because North Dakota State will be at the same level of Texas State within 5 years? Can I convince you?
It's a possibility for sure. But
all right.
I mean, would you be willing to bet anything right now on conference realignment or NCAA rules or anything else? I'll make you. Let's make this bet. Do you think that we're done with lawsuits now when it comes to
NIL?
I mean, so who knows what's going to happen? I don't know. I know the schools like Washington State and Oregon State, they don't want to be perceived as moving down to FCS, which might be the case. I think in the next 5 years, you might see some schools have buyer's remorse about moving to FBS. I mean, does Kennesaw State have any business being in FBS football?
No.
Regardless of success on the field. I'm talking about fundraising, all of those things. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
If Kennesaw State is sending its volleyball team to New Mexico, is that a good thing for Kennesaw State? I think North Dakota State could handle that eventually. I don't know if a Kennesaw State can. So I'll give it 50-50 that your scenario is going to happen. I'll give it 50-50. I'm not ready to go so far as to say yes, it will happen for sure, because nothing is for sure in college athletics. But I'd be willing to bet it's almost an equal chance that there's going to be some schools going, I might want to get back to FCS. I know it's a tough call for a president, but when you're millions of dollars in the hole, it's probably an easier call. I
thought I might have just wrote the next Mike McFeely column headline is NDSU's 50-50 whether I want him to go now. I thought I had you.
I want him to go. I want him to go. FCS is, to me, this is me speaking. This is not North Dakota State, although I do know that they have obviously explored their options and what it would take to get to FBS. I am fatigued with FCS. I'm fatigued with FCS.
I know that. Mike McFeely, not fatigued enough to not come on the show tonight. Inforum.com. His work is there. He's back and rolling. Mike, good to have you. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Nate. Talk to you again.
Appreciate it. Mike McFeely on tonight, columnist, Inforum.com from Fargo. Mike McFeely on the Nate Brown Show tonight. What I'm saying is, Mike McFeely's saying North Dakota State, he's been on this for a long time. I don't know how many columns he's written. North Dakota State, get to the FBS, get to the FBS. I don't think he's wrong. I don't think he's wrong. North Dakota State has succeeded at the FCS. They should be FBS. What I'm saying is in the next 5 years, just hang tight. The big guys are going to have their own league. The Texas States, the Wyomings, the Utah States, whoever, they're going to be with SDSU and NDSU. There will be a power league, and there will be another league. That's my prediction. So I was trying to get Mike McFeely to change that column and say, I've decided. Well, just wait until the domino drops. Okay? That's what I think is going to happen. Quick timeout. We'll get into the second hour. A lot to cover tonight. Let me give you my read on what I experienced firsthand. I went and watched Caitlin Clark at an away game for the second year in a row. So I took my family. We went to Las Vegas last year. Now we went to Seattle. Was there anything different on Caitlin Clark in year number 2? I'll explain next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Your home deserves a better hello. Swing into summer with a brand new entry or patio door. Get 20% off every door plus no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. Enjoy an extra 5% off your entire project if purchased on initial consultation. That's up to 25% in savings on an upgrade your home will thank you for. But hurry, these hot summer deals won't last long. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps 1 minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
Rapid City forecast. Clear skies tonight with lows around 57. Southwesterly winds around 5 miles per hour. Mainly clear tomorrow. Slight chance of thunderstorms. Highs level off around 93. Lows around 64 tomorrow night. Mainly sunny Wednesday with highs around 96. 98 Thursday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently 76.
Hi, this is Dr. Dan Jensen at Physio. We want to be your trusted partner for physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab. As the official strength and conditioning partners for Stevens, Central, Douglas, and the Rapid City Rush, our team at Physio is building the best athletes in the Black Hills. If you have an athlete in the family, we offer long-term athlete development at affordable prices for middle and high school students. We also have the only board-certified sports PT in Rapid City. At our brand new facility, Physio is ready to help you perform at your best. One-on-one physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab, all at one place. Get started at bhphysio.com.
Remember when life was simple? Nope, me neither. The summer sun may feel great to us, but summer heat takes its toll on your vehicle. Don't risk your family's vacation fun by ignoring vehicle maintenance. When it comes to your vehicle maintenance or repair, keeping it simple is easy. The ASE certified technicians at Al's D&I can make sure your car is in top running condition. Maintenance now or fix it later. Most vehicles, most years, and most countries. Al's D&I can fix them. Check in at Al's D&I on Sturgis Road and online at alsdniautorepair.com.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
Welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show back on a Monday. Hope you're doing well. I just got a listener text. Nate, I forgot you were back today. Well, I'm back today. Thank you. 1 week off, and we're back from the dead. It's amazing. The Nate Brown Show is on South Dakota Sports Talk Show Live, Fox Sports Radio. Remember, you can stream us on X at Nate Brown Show. So stream us there live right now on X at Nate Brown Show. Coming up, Mike Golick Jr. on the way. FanDuel Sports Network, host of Golick and Golick every day with his dad. Great guest. We'll run through some national headlines. Mike Golick Jr. on tap, national sports talk straight ahead. So I saw one of the biggest stars in the country last week, one of the biggest sports stars in the country. And if you argue with me, I'm going to argue all night long. I went and watched Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. So let me tell you, I'm trying to determine here what the story is in the WNBA and if they're handling things right on the Caitlin Clark scenario and everything. And everybody has an opinion, right? Everybody, they get into the politics side of this, and Caitlin gets picked on side of this, and all sorts of stuff. So let me just tell you my experience last 2 summers. So last summer, we went to Las Vegas. My daughter loves basketball, Caitlin Clark, so we said, hey, we're going to do Las Vegas and then California. Let's make a vacation out of it. So we went and watched the Fever. This is the first year, as you know, of Caitlin Clark in the WNBA. And I have to admit, if you go back on this show to the archives, when she first started out of Iowa, I didn't think the Iowa and college following would totally transform the WNBA following. And I was totally off on that last year. I never thought this many people would care about the WNBA and the storylines and the whole thing. It's the middle of summer. People are taking vacations. Yes, people are now taking vacations, not just me. Here's what I experienced the last 2 years. We went Las Vegas last year, and then we did a vacation Pacific Northwest last week, went to Seattle and up to the Pacific Northwest. There were other people doing the same thing around the Caitlin Clark game. I was talking to them waiting in line. I took pictures of this. I was going to post it on social media. I don't know how many jerseys you could count going into the Seattle Storm game. This is in Seattle. They were all Caitlin Clark jerseys. I mean, it's unbelievable. So my point of this is, has it been any different? Has it waned off? Has it settled down? Caitlin Clark, the hype, the sports celebrity status and the following and the coverage, it hasn't from year 1 to year 2. It's just gotten bigger, I think. I think it's actually gotten bigger. And you look at it, you say, there's no other person that would bring this many people into a WNBA game. It was sold out in Seattle, 18,000. Big arena there. That's where their hockey team plays. So huge arena, sold out. And Paige Beckers finally has it right. This is Paige Beckers now, the new rookie out of UConn. And everybody, if you follow women's basketball, you know her. Paige Beckers has it right. She said what nobody else has really said. I don't know why nobody else has really said it. She said over the weekend when the Fever just beat Dallas, where Paige Beckers got drafted number 1. Paige Beckers said, Caitlin Clark has brought in so many people to the WNBA that wouldn't have watched the games. So she's trying to say what the WNBA should be thinking this whole time. The league and all of the other players, instead of being wondering about this or jealous about that, or are we not protecting? Should we do this? Should we do that? She is the reason that so many people have now started following women's basketball at that level. And it's not disregarding the other players. Because now as I watch the games, it's not just the Caitlin Clark fest. I like watching a lot of the Indiana Fever games, finding out some of these great players. You should know some of these players. And so if you're a basketball fan, this gap of, hey, there's really not a ton going on unless you're watching baseball. There's not a ton going on. The WNBA has something with Caitlin Clark you've never thought you'd seen, and I never thought it would go this big from college to the WNBA. I wasn't so sure it would hang on this long from year 1 to year 2, and it's just gotten bigger and bigger, and I witnessed it firsthand. 2 road games, massive sellouts, the biggest women's basketball crowd they've ever seen in Las Vegas. That was one of the biggest events at T-Mobile Arena in that arena for sports. That's where the Golden Knights play, by the way, Stanley Cup, right? So they've been very good. That's a huge crowd, and now a sellout in Seattle, and it's Caitlin Clark's impact for the rest of the players in the league, and I'm still not so sure everyone gets it like Paige Beckers got it. Paige Beckers gets it. She's brand new. She's a big star, but she gets it, and I hope everyone else does. It's amazing. A lot of fun. Great trip. Caitlin Clark, a second autograph. We got 2 now. I think I'm finally lucky. Whoever thought I wasn't lucky. Coming back into the second hour, let's get into this tonight. I never thought I would mention Chuck Todd and sports. What a random thing on a Monday. Chuck Todd was asked, how would you create a media company, essentially? What would you focus on? Chuck Todd, this is, Meet the Press guy. He quit that show now, but Meet the Press guy, political guy. This is a guy you'd talk to in a Seattle coffee shop. Oh, Chuck, what do you think about the state of sports today? Well, he said something really, really interesting, and I'm going to get into it next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Could there be a better name? Auto Value Parts Stores. They aren't just about air fresheners or fuzzy dice. Auto Value Parts Stores are all about parts, auto parts, and advice. Pros who know auto parts with tons of tips when you need them the most. You want real value? Don't go to a place with a cute name. Go to Auto Value. Could there be a better name? I didn't think so. Your Auto Value Parts Store. We've got the parts, we've got the smarts.
Hey, Sioux Falls sports fans, there's a great new sports bar in Sioux Falls, Boston's Restaurant and Sports Bar on West Russell Street in the Ramada Water Park Hotel. If you want to watch games, UFC, they've got it, wall-to-wall TVs, and the best part, great food. Gourmet pizza at Boston's, tons of wing options, great burgers, and a lot more. Bring the family, bring the team, bring your crew to the new Boston's Restaurant and Sports Bar in Sioux Falls on West Russell Street. Plus, you can order online for lunch or dinner. Just go to bostons.com.
May was a busy month at Spearfish GMC Cadillac, and when the dust settled, we were left with a surplus of super clean and locally sourced pre-owned vehicles, trucks, cars, vans, SUVs, and certified pre-owned. Shop all makes and all models, and all priced below market for unbeatable value. Now's the time to find your perfect vehicle and save big with Spearfish Motors. Visit us anytime online at spearfishmotors.com.
Hey, sports parents and ballers of all ages, Rapid City has a new sports facility that you have to check out. E3 Sports Complex on East North Street is the newest indoor sports facility featuring 4 full courts. E3 Sports is here to serve the community and wants all athletes of any age to come and experience expert training, coaching, and the opportunity to unlock your athletic potential. Memberships and court rentals are available now. Come to play at E3 Sports Complex. Learn more at e3sports.org.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Imagine this, a bank that is committed to you, that understands your needs, your values, and your growth. No more settling for the status quo. Pioneer Bank and Trust offers tailored solutions, innovative services, and a team of experts dedicated to your success. You deserve more attention and more support from your bank. Don't settle. Pioneer. Pioneer Bank and Trust. Local.
Pioneer Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Have you ever really thought about how important your front door, and every entry door into your home for that matter, really is? That door provides security for your family and so much more. The wait is over. Ensemble Doors by Renewal by Andersen have arrived. These awesome secure doors have timeless style, elegant features. They can be customized countless ways with the legendary quality of Renewal by Andersen. Right now, Renewal by Andersen is offering an incredible value on Ensemble entry doors. You get 20% off every Ensemble entry door. No money down, no interest, no payments for 12 months. No payments for a year. Ensemble entry doors by Renewal by Andersen are just so much better. They're built with the best quality materials, including Renewal by Andersen's exclusive Fibrex, which has been tested to deliver enhanced security, certified performance, and lasting beauty. Please visit RBARapidCity.com now. That's RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate. Ensemble entry doors, the wait is over.
One more time. This is the Nate Brown Show. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
And glad to have you back on board. Thanks for making this show possible. It's South Dakota Sports Talk Show, Monday edition, getting the week started. 4th of July, Independence Day this week. Let's serve it up, get after it. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live on Fox Sports Radio. We're also streaming on X. Follow us at Nate Brown Show. Watch us on X. One more place, if you don't have the X app, go to YouTube. You've got us there easily. Subscribe to the channel, live and archive shows there. The Nate Brown Show on YouTube. Hang tight for Mike Golick Jr. tonight. FanDuel Sports Network. Big trade in the NFL. An interesting one today. I'm not quite following it. What the deal is with it. But Mike Golick Jr., some reaction. Dave Smith is on tonight. He is the new Rapid City Rush general manager and head coach. We'll talk to him first on the Nate Brown Show. Dave Smith coming up. This is interesting to me, so let me get into this before Mike Golick Jr. So Chuck Todd did a Q&A with a media company on how would you save local news? So in this world, you're seeing newspapers cut. TV stations ramp down. I mean, not only just from the news side, but like even the sports side. There was a Houston TV station that like cut out sports. They just have their news anchors like read stuff if something happens. This is Houston. So Chuck Todd, meet the press guy, political analyst guy on TV. That Chuck Todd was asked, how would you start and excel at local news if you were to start a company? What should you cover? What do you think Chuck Todd said? Youth sports and high school sports. Here's his direct quote. I won't get into everything he said, but Chuck Todd, I view youth sports and high school sports as the most sustainable stream. The most sustainable stream. We're about to see an explosion in youth sports. I have a friend of mine whose kid is actually getting NIL money for beach volleyball in college. The universities are expanding their bandwidth of what sports they want to specialize in. Think about the demographic of the parents right now of a kid in youth sports. They're all 45 or under, a demographic that nobody in news has right now. That's why this is the lucrative base to start from. So Chuck Todd said his thought is if you're going to have a media company and a local news operation, it's not, he said newspapers, not the way to go. You got to go stream like youth sports and high school sports. Now, this hits home for me. We obviously cover high school sports in a big way. We talk and cover youth sports here probably more than most sports shows around the country, right? Youth sports and South Dakota high school sports, unique sports category we have in this state. We don't have a bunch of pro teams and stuff like that. And I thought that was interesting. He put this in, and he actually said, here's what he said. The last part, Chuck Todd. My vision is that a local news organization should get the rights for all youth sports in their city. Then if you can't make it to a kid's game, you can watch the live stream on the local news site. There you have it. So this is interesting. Let me ask this question of the day to you, sports fan South Dakota. Sports fan South Dakota. Would it make sense? Is Chuck Todd, whether you like him or not, is Chuck Todd right? Youth sports, let's just high school sports are streamed in this state a ton, right? and people enjoy it. People watch it. SDPB has the state tournaments and the state football championships. Outstanding, right? While they still have it, okay? Hang on. But what about youth sports? This is what intrigues me. Because, like, I've been in the youth sports game now for a while, and I still am. Are you telling me streaming youth sports would be, like, interesting to have people come on the site? You can watch live games and archive games. That's what Chuck Todd's selling today in this interview. Do you think it would make sense? Let's bring it back to South Dakota, a South Dakota media company, to video stream various youth sports and offer those games to the public. Does that make sense to you? I'm going to answer my question of the day tonight. I always make you answer the question of the day. I'm going to answer the question of the day. Let's just think about this. There was just the city championships in Little League in Rapid City, right? This is the city championships, Little League baseball. If you don't think people would actually watch those live streams and those archived games, you're crazy. The city championships, Rapid City, Little League baseball, it's a thing. And so when you scoff and you laugh at it, it's like, oh, Chuck Todd, stick to politics, dude. That's what he's talking about. So when he says streaming youth sports and people would actually follow it, now I don't know how you get the manpower. You got to do the streams. You got to send them out to the various clubs. And what about hockey and baseball and soccer and softball? But I'm telling you, he's close. He is close. It absolutely makes sense. Will we see it? Stay tuned. We'll see how busy Matt Kearney is, okay? Mike Golick Jr. is coming up next. FanDuel Sports Network from Golick and Golick next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share. To revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Your home deserves a better hello. Swing into summer with a brand new entry or patio door. Get 20% off every door plus no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. Enjoy an extra 5% off your entire project if purchased on initial consultation. That's up to 25% in savings on an upgrade your home will thank you for. But hurry, these hot summer deals won't last long. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
Today's online-only auction, a surplus reduction at the Barber Ranch, 8.7 miles east of the Hart Ranch, Lower Spring Creek Road, south of Rapid City. On the auction, here's a Case SR 250 skid steer, 3 Amish-built sheds, shipping containers, livestock equipment, electric fence posts and chargers, several 20-foot freestanding oil field livestock panels. Final auction preview this afternoon from 3 to 5. Auction begins to close at 6 p.m. For more auction details and to bid and buy, go to McPhersonAuction.com.
Ready to be part of something big? Meet the Rapid City Sports Commission, the powerhouse behind sports in Rapid City. The commission focuses on bringing regional and national tournaments, supporting homegrown events, and creating opportunities for our kids. But it's not just games, it's a win-win for all of us. Youth sports fuel our economy. Hosting events in Rapid City means out-of-town families shop, dine, and stay with us, which boosts sales tax revenues too. To get in on the action, visit rcsportscommission.com, where we're all about the hustle.
Are you thinking about starting or expanding a business? At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, our dedicated business lending team focuses on understanding our members' unique needs and truly wants to help them succeed. From the loans to get your business off the ground to the accounts to keep it running, we offer unique products with your business's best interest in mind. Learn more at bhfcu.com or text or call 605-718-1818. BHFCU is a member-owned, not-for-profit.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk.
Welcome back in. Your Sports, Your Show. The Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Radio across South Dakota. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live Monday afternoon drive. Mike Golick Jr. is on the Pizza Ranch studio hotline. Appreciate his time. His show is on FanDuel Sports Network. Have you checked it out? He's been doing a great job. Golick and Golick. Great show. FanDuel Sports Network. He's on X at Mike Golick Jr. Mike, welcome back on. How are you?
Doing well. How you doing, Nate?
Good, man. Appreciate you hopping in. I want to get your perspective. Help me out with this. I want to go through some national headlines. You tell me if you're the Steelers, getting rid of Minkah Fitzpatrick and getting Jalen Ramsey today means what?
It means you've got a versatile piece on your defense that when in the right environment has produced championship-level results. Now, Jalen Ramsey at this age, maybe not capable of that much influence, but fits a specific need. He's incredibly versatile, plays a lot of outside corner, obviously. It could moonlight at safety, but really I think that slot corner area that Pittsburgh's been in dire need of production out of is an area where he really shined last year. You saw on Anthony Weaver's defense in Miami, they used him an incredible amount as a pass rusher. Last year, Jalen Ramsey was incredibly effective going towards the quarterback, and so that ability to play in that area, to be as big and versatile as he is, helps that defense out a bunch at a time where, listen, make no bones about it, while this may not be solely about Aaron Rodgers, trying to get some short-term success on the higher end than Pittsburgh's had in a while, getting over that hump of Wild Card Weekend, it seems to be their goal right now. They have money to spend to do it, and they're clearly going out there and letting that be known that they're not going to sit on their hands right now while they've got to try and get to the promised land.
Okay, so you say the Steelers' moves, how would you rate them? Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf, Jalen Ramsey, how much better are they?
I don't think a ton better. Now, individually, all these are upgrades, right? When you look at DK Metcalf, I think the upgrade for him over Pickens at wide receiver, that's an upgrade. DK Metcalf, a more consistent and reliable receiver who, even though the ability for Pickens was to sell on the high end, I still think DK Metcalf, more talented, wins out in all those areas. So that's a plus. Aaron Rodgers, certainly more experienced and more accomplished than anyone they've had under center since Ben Roethlisberger. Excuse me. And so I think that a definitive upgrade over what the alternative would have been in Mason Rudolph. And Jalen Ramsey, Minkah Fitzpatrick, I'll call that probably a wash and just say the versatility you get right now. Minkah Fitzpatrick has been declining a little bit. That's a positive, but you still need a number of things to come together. So I would say it's incremental, not exponential progress for Pittsburgh.
Mike Golick Jr. on tonight, FanDuel Sports Network. The show is Golick and Golick. Big NFL headline, Jalen Ramsey going to the Steelers, Minkah Fitzpatrick to the Dolphins. Okay, I want to get your read on this basketball headline. So the draft happened last week. You guys have been covering this. The draft happens. Ace Bailey decides he's going to try and go to a different team and try and steer his way. That's happened before. Do we have any problem with it? He ends up with the Jazz, maybe not too happy. What do you think about players today saying, I kind of want to go here or there?
Yeah, I think we obviously have a ton of history of this, even, in the sport I cover more often in football, of players at the top end of the draft at least trying to, some of them actually being incredibly effective at influencing their outcome in the draft. I have really no problem with the idea. The devil is always in the details. How you do everything matters and sends a message, especially when you're a player that hasn't played it down in that league. But I think in this case with Ace Bailey, he's also looking up at a league where this is the norm. In the NBA, star players routinely throw their weight around to try and get their own results. And so ultimately, listen, he was able to get past some of the teams he didn't want to go to, but there's a reminder that players in any league can only control so much. And so ultimately, no harm, no foul. He showed up in Utah, and now we'll wait to see what kind of player he can develop into.
Okay, so you wouldn't have any... does he really want to play for me if I'm Danny Ainge and the Jazz? You wouldn't have any worries?
No, because eventually, again, the structure of these leagues are, hey, if you believe enough in the talent of the player, eventually they are incentivized to show up, especially early on. We see this all the time in football, where the most recent collective bargaining agreement makes the fine system so punitive that it's very few and far between the players that are actually going to hold out until a meaningful point in time. And then at some point, listen, these guys want a ball. Like Ace Bailey, the whole point of him trying to avoid some of these teams was to have the room to develop into a superstar, and Utah certainly has a void to fill, and he should be happy to.
Okay, I want to get your take. Shedeur Sanders has been quiet since the 2 speeding tickets came out. Do you think there's going to be any problems there with Shedeur, those tickets, his impacting him and the Browns?
No, I don't think so, mostly because I don't think he's going to be the starter for that team. I think Joe Flacco, while a couple of years older, showed you what he could do in Kevin Stefanski's offense with a lot less time under task. So I still think he's the guy. I think for Shedeur Sanders, he's the guy who, remember, the questions we had about Shedeur were mostly on the field in terms of top-end ability. Maybe you could also say the pre-draft evaluation process, he didn't play that the right way. But some of the question was high-end traits, the things that are a little bit out of his control. All the controllables in terms of navigating the stardom, what he does from the neck up on the field, preparation, those weren't really issues of mine. And so I'm going to look at these two as outliers and a learning experience for a young man who did what young men sometimes do, and give him the benefit of the doubt that I think at least in this area he's earned.
Mike Golic Jr. on tonight. I have to ask you, there is a new video game in production, college basketball. You're a football guy. It's not the same as NCAA football, EA Sports, but the revival of college basketball on EA Sports, you say what?
I say nostalgia is a hell of a drug. And while for me this game does not have the place in my past that makes it hit that same way nostalgia-wise, it's going to be a lot like what it was for EA College Football 25, where distance makes the heart grow fonder, and so I'm sure there will be plenty of people that are excited to go take a spin on this, and video game companies are clearly seeing what I think films quite frankly saw for a long time, which is there ain't nothing like a reboot to get people's butts in seats.
No, I'm with you on it. NCAA college basketball. I played it. It doesn't hit like college football, but I played it. It was a distant memory. Mike Golic Jr. on. This show is on right now. It's summer. They've just got going FanDuel Sports Network. If you haven't watched it, do it. Every afternoon, Golic and Golic. Mike, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Nate.
Appreciate it. Mike Golic Jr. on tonight, FanDuel Sports Network. The show is Golic and Golic. They just launched last couple of weeks ago. Find him on X at Mike Golic Jr. Yeah, did you see that? I honestly... I barely remember playing NCAA college basketball. I'm a basketball fan. I barely remember it. I do remember playing with Duke. I had Duke, and I think it was probably during the Trajan Langdon days a little bit. There's an NCAA video game called NCAA college basketball. Didn't have the same run. It didn't have the same run as NCAA college football, but I just saw that headline today. They're gonna reboot NCAA college basketball. The basketball game that I played the most, you know what it is, right? It was NBA Jam. NBA Jam. You can still find NBA Jam, right? Does anybody still have NBA Jam? Text me, please. I'll buy it from you. No, I mean, operable. I still saw NBA Jam on some video game consoles, the 2v2 NBA Jam. Tell me you played NBA Jam. Jumping up, dunking, you jump 30 feet into the air. I mean, that's one of the all-timers. So NBA Jam hits, NBA Live, pretty good. I started getting into NBA Live back in the day, and now I'm on the video game circuit. I'm lost. Listener text coming in on NCAA college basketball. I never played it. Yeah, no, it's a distant memory. Did not have the same run as NCAA college football, but basketball getting revived. I don't know if it's going to be EA Sports or not, but NCAA basketball getting revived. Coming right back, I've got to get into this. This is an interesting one, okay? There was a survey sent out in Sioux Falls. There was a survey sent out in Sioux Falls of high school sports participation. This was really, really interesting. We found out what the number one sports are, and we found out something else. There's quite a bit of a drop-off. Sioux Falls high school sports. Pretty interesting. We'll discuss next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Celebrate the freedom of summer at Splash City's Infrared White and Blue Sale, June 27th through July 14th. Relax like never before with spa-quality infrared saunas. And bring home the ultimate in comfort with hot tubs and swim spas from Jacuzzi, Sundance, and American Whirlpool. Enjoy 0% financing for 6 years and save up to $5,000 in factory direct rebates on qualifying models. Summer fun, summer savings. Only at Splash City in Rapid City, Sioux Falls, and Sioux City.
Splash City, get you in for fun.
How do you make a buffet day even better? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade is your place for good food and good times. Won the big game? Make it a play day. Aced your test? Make it a play day. Just need to get out of the house? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade has all your favorites and all kinds of fun. So bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team. For good food and good times, make it a buffet day and a play day at the Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade.
Ever dreamed of building something amazing? Builders First Source in Rapid City, Spearfish, and Hot Springs is your go-to building materials partner. Whether you're building new or giving new life to an old space, we provide step-by-step guidance from drafting and cabinetry design to lifelike visualization and top-quality materials. It's your vision, and we're here to make it real. Visit BLDR.com. Builders First Source, your Black Hills partner in building every step of the way.
Hi, I'm Tim Wrench, and I'm seeking personal injury cases. If you've been injured because someone else did something wrong, call me up. I'm a trial lawyer. I've tried criminal and civil cases for decades, and I can use all of that experience to help you. I also know this, that when insurance companies know that you're represented by a trial lawyer, they take your claim more seriously, and if it is to be settled, it's settled better with a trial lawyer. Wrench Law, 605-341-1111, wrenchlaw.com.
Hi, this is Dr. Dan Jensen at Physio. We want to be your trusted partner for physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab. As the official strength and conditioning partners for Stevens, Central, Douglas, and the Rapid City Rush, our team at Physio is building the best athletes in the Black Hills. If you have an athlete in the family, we offer long-term athlete development at affordable prices for middle and high school students. We also have the only board-certified sports PT in Rapid City. At our brand new facility, Physio is ready to help you perform at your best. One-on-one physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab, all at one place. Get started at bhphysio.com.
Chatting with Brian at Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail. Well, time to see how your car will weather the winter.
That it is. Let's make sure your vehicle is ready to handle the warm months ahead.
Being a AAA and ASE certified shop, I know you guys are well equipped to do just that.
Justin and our techs have all the experience you need in diagnosing and repairing whatever may be ailing your vehicle.
And if finances are tight for customers, you can help there?
Yes, we can. We offer the AutoPass card, which has really been a huge help for people who are in dire need of repairs. Call us with any questions on this program, or you can get an answer in minutes right from our homepage at anytimeanytime.com. Just click the AutoPass Apply Now button.
What a great option for those who have repairs that just can't wait.
Absolutely. It's been a fantastic opportunity for many people.
Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail, everybody. The place to trust. Your complete AAA and ASE certified automotive repair specialist. See anytimeanytime.com and at the corner of Highway 79 and East Minnesota.
Anytime Auto Sales.
This is The Nate Brown Show, also streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe to The Nate Brown Show on YouTube.
Welcome back in. Hope you're having a good Monday. I know it's Monday, but it's summer. Let's try and take it, right? It's always a great day in South Dakota. We know that. And glad to be back. Sometimes you're like, man, I was gone for a long time. Only a few days, but we're back and ready. It's summer. A lot of stuff popping, though, when you always go, what did we miss when we were gone? Well, I'll tell you one thing we missed on the Nate Brown Show, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. While we were gone last week, the Rapid City Rush hired a new general manager and head coach. And so he's ready to take over in Rapid City. It's the general manager and head coach. It's Dave Smith. Just hired last week, and he's on the Nate Brown Show across South Dakota on Fox Sports Radio. He joins us live on the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline. Coach, good to talk to you. How are you?
Hey, Nate. I'm doing great.
Excellent, man. Congrats on getting the position. And I just want to get into your story and kind of introduce you to this whole scene in South Dakota. You get the job now as the GM and head coach of the Rapid City Rush. Your story is 27 years of coaching NCAA Division I hockey. So I'll ask you right out of the gate, you're out of college, you're going to go pro now. Why did you want to try this?
Well, I think, I one of the things I did getting ready for, the job search was to look at my players that our staff have had over the years. And I got into the 9,000, 8,000 games played pro. And you quickly realize that we've been developing guys for East Coast League, American League, International League, and the NHL for a long time. And I played it, and I'm excited to jump into the immediacy and the urgency of what pro hockey is, and with a great group in Inspire Sports and Jared Reed. And, I think all of the things that pro hockey is for the Rush fans, it is for me as a coach and GM as well.
Dave Smith just hired by the Rapid City Rush, new head coach and general manager. I'm going to ask you about the kind of differences that you're going to experience. It's going to have to be different. You're going to have guys now that shift. They're going to be, moved off. They're going to go here. You're going to have to make acquisitions. How do you think the big adjustment will go, the biggest difference between college and now the CCHL level for you?
Well, it's probably at the top of the list of what you mentioned in terms of what I'm excited about. And, in college, you recruit 1, 2, 3 years out, and we spend our time as a staff, as coaches, recruiting for guys that you may never coach. And right now, Peter Drikos and I, we're building a team for October. And the transactions that happen through the start of the season, the middle of the season, and, towards the end of the season, those are immediate changes. So the network of people that, again, have been in this a long time and that Peter has, this is where and how we build our team, and the communication we have and the reputation that we have as people that work hard and do the right thing and are chasing trophies. So I think that change is really the biggest difference, but the immediacy of what we're doing is something that I've enjoyed in the early stages here and really look forward to. Hey, we need a guy. Let's go get a guy for tomorrow.
Dave Smith on tonight, new head coach, general manager, Rapid City Rush, ECHL, just hired last week, joins us on the Nate Brown Show. What are you going to bring, Coach? What do you want to bring? If people haven't followed your career, what type of hockey team do you want?
Well, for one, and I think the easiest way to answer that, and it is a common question right from the interviews all the way to the people that you meet, is when I played, that's the type of team that I like. Obviously, there's skill and there's systems and structure, but number one at the top of the list has to be we're hard to play against. And that means when we have the puck, we're really good and we're doing good things with it and we're attacking the opposition, and we don't have the puck, we check our tails off and get it back.
I want to ask you about your coaching. So you've been to the college level a ton, a lot of success, a lot of teams you've coached, a lot of games, but the seasons are shorter. So now from this, I've seen players come into the Rush, Coach, young players. They're used to the college level, maybe not as many games. How do you make that adjustment? It is a difference here. It's a long season, October through April.
Well, I think we got to listen. We got to work with the players, right? Like coaching nowadays is not a dictatorship; it's a partnership, and we've got to listen to the players. And last year's Rush team, they had some really good chemistry and some veteran guys that have been around a long time. You've got to work with them. Again, our travel, while it's a lot of distance covered, we're fortunate. We've got an ownership group that's committed, and we fly everywhere. But that takes a different toll on you. So, how long is practice? Excuse me, what are we trying to accomplish today, and what are the different ways that we can do it? Some days it might be just a short practice on the ice and a video session. Some days it might be a day off, and we've got to listen to them, that make sure that when the puck drops on game night, energy and enthusiasm and the love of the game is there. We don't want to take those things away from the players during practice.
Dave Smith on tonight. Appreciate his time. Head coach of the Rush, new general manager of the Rush. How do you weight those two? I've asked each person as I've talked to them, general manager role, head coaching role. Some guys love coaching the game. General manager, this is the stuff I have to do. How do you want to run that show?
Well, I think there's a time to put on a general manager hat, and there's a time to put on the coaching hat. And, and this is where Peter Dricos, who's staying on board with the Rush, is really important, is that, again, we work together. And so we build a ghost roster as general managers, but we also know that as coaches, there's certain elements that we need. That I know that a number 2 center is really important for the structure that we want. I know that having depth as a coach is really important. So the coach and the GM, they need to be locked in tight together. And I think it's a little easier when it's 1 or 2 people doing it. And we're building this thing from the ground up together with some really good returning players. But I just think you got to know when's the time to coach and when's the time to be a GM.
What was your perspective, Coach, of Jared Reed, president of the Rush, Jeff Dickerson, Spire Sports owner? What was your impression of them?
Well, they want to win. They want to win, and they're providing the resources to build the player environment and the process of developing a team. They're going to provide the resources for that. But for a long time, and this is, I've used this word before, there's alignment. And for a long time, I've been using the values of family, discipline, commitment, and integrity. And right from Jeff Dickerson through Jared Reed, Todd Mack, and those guys, I heard from other people that I trust and respect in the game that those guys are in it for the right reasons. They treat people right, and they chase championships. And right from day one, when Jared and I had our first conversations, and you work your way through, the interview process and ultimately the hiring process, they've done nothing except be first-class professional people that want to win hockey games, be great in the community, and do things right for the players. And those things align very well with myself and my wife, Susan, and what we're looking to bring to Rapid City.
New chapter for Rush Hockey. The head coach is Dave Smith. 27 years of collegiate coaching experience coming to Rapid City in the ECHL. You're excited about that, Coach. What did you love about college? You going to miss anything about college hockey?
Well, I think it's really important that, while college hockey has changed a lot, and everybody reads what's going on with NIL and transfer portal, I wanted to pursue something, not run from something. And college hockey, that development where you get a young man for, whether it be 1 year now or 4 years, that transformation is remarkable to see how they change. I'm really going to miss that when you bring a young man in on a recruiting trip and 4, 5, or 6 years later you watch him go out the door as a man and ready to take on the world. Well, I'm now picking them up at the end of that college journey, at the beginning of their next journey. So, now we get to pick them up and help them through their pro career into the next phases of their life. And the pace at which that happens is a lot faster, and I'm looking forward to that. But I also will miss that pace of development that we spent so much time with on the college athletes.
Last one for you, Coach. What's your perspective of the ECHL? Give me a read nationally of what do people think of this league?
Well, it's a great league. I think that, it's interesting from the players' perspective because they want to be in the National Hockey League. They want to be in the American Hockey League. So they want to be in a place that they can grow and develop their game. But they also want to be in a place that they can have fun and people like seeing them play well, right? So a place like Rapid City checks all those boxes. We can develop, we can progress the player along, and we can put them in an environment where the fans are awesome. They're crazy passionate about what's going on at the rink, and the players can have that world. The public perception, typically, the fans want to be entertained, and it's an entertaining league. You've got tough players, you've got goal scoring, and it's a really high level hockey where guys can go on from here and play, make a career as a professional hockey player. So across the board, elite hockey with elite people.
I'm excited to see you get to work. Looking forward to it. Dave Smith named new head coach and general manager of the Rapid City Rush, getting set to take over. He'll be introduced to the public coming up. Dave Smith on the Nate Brown Show, South Dakota Sports Talk Show, covering the Rush. Coach, good luck to you. We'll talk to you again soon. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Nate. I appreciate it.
Appreciate your time tonight. Thanks for hopping on. Dave Smith on tonight, courtesy of the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline Live, Rapid City Rush general manager and new head coach, the 5th head coach in Rush history, 27 years in the college game. Boy, a lot of experience. Looking forward to seeing the next chapter of the Rush. Dave Smith on tonight, and more to come down the road. We're coming back on the Nate Brown Show. Who's hot and who's not? Well, this is interesting. What else did I miss while I was gone in a sports announcement in South Dakota? This is a big one next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Save big money when you shop at Menards. Highlight your home's beauty with outdoor wall lights from Patriot Lighting. Shop a variety of style and color options in-store and on Menards.com. Now through July 6th, get $10 instant savings with a purchase of $75 or more on all stock outdoor wall lights. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for more great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Sandwiches are the original fast food, and what could be easier than loading up a few slices of Country Hearth multigrain bread with your favorite deli meats and cheeses, then piling on freshly picked veggies from your garden, or maybe a good old-fashioned peanut butter and homemade strawberry jam sandwich made on Kids' Choice. This summer, when you're on your way to the lake or park, skip the drive-thru. Pack a cooler full of your favorite sandwiches instead. Country Hearth Breads, locally baked and delivered fresh daily.
The place that sells the best new cars and trucks is the place you'll find the best used cars and trucks. That place is Denny Menho Toyota. Shop better quality import and domestic models. Buy with no down and make no payments for 90 days. Plus, buy Toyota certified pre-owned with financing as low as 5.49% APR for up to 60 months. See us at Denny Menho Toyota or DennyMenhoToyota.com. 1910 per 1,000 finance regardless of down. Offers with qualified credit expires 6/30/25.
The Spring Hill Suites Bar at Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resort presents the ultimate party on the patio. Every Thursday from 5 till 7 p.m., enjoy martinis and mules from their new specialty cocktail menu. Plus, $2 off all Tito's handmade vodka drinks and $2 off draft beers. And to add to the fun, there's live music on the patio. It's martinis, mules, and live music every Thursday from 5 till 7 p.m. at the Spring Hill Suites Bar and Patio at Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resort in Deadwood.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Clear skies tonight with lows around 57. Southwesterly winds around 5 miles per hour. Mainly clear tomorrow, slight chance of thunderstorms. Highs level off around 93. Lows around 64 tomorrow night. Mainly sunny Wednesday with highs around 96, 98 Thursday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 77 degrees.
We're talking with Britt Wickett at Elevate Performance Physical Therapy for an Elevate Performance Health Minute. Britt, one of the injuries we hear a lot about in sports, an ACL tear. You can't prevent all injuries, but good sports performance training could help.
Yeah, Nate, one of the things that a lot of good sports performance training focuses on is trying to not only prepare athletes for the field of sport, but also try to mitigate their risk to sustain an injury. Unfortunately, things happen in sport. If anybody ever does experience an ACL tear, that results in needing a surgery to fix that, it's important to have a therapist on your side who can help them through prehab, rehab, and then return to sport. It's a marathon, not a sprint. It takes a long time to get back to the field of sport, but it's not impossible to do it all by any means. So just having that end goal in mind can be really beneficial for the rehab process.
When it comes to ACLs and sports performance training and treatment, get started at ElevatePerformanceSD.com.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
Glad to have you on board tonight. We're back. We didn't screw anything up. Well, we might have screwed some things up, but nothing broke today. We're back after vacation. We didn't forget how to do anything, so we're back. It is South Dakota Sports Talk Show, the Nate Brown Show, live on Fox Sports Radio across South Dakota. A reminder, since you missed last week, I wasn't here. We missed it. I don't know what happened. Go to the Nate Brown Show podcast tonight. If you missed some of the show. See, every show we put in the podcast. So we had Mike McFeely tonight. Good stuff from Fargo. Craig Maddock unveiled his South Dakota Sports Mount Rushmore list because ESPN botched theirs. Come on. They were in South Dakota yesterday over the weekend in the Black Hills. They released a South Dakota Sports Mount Rushmore list. We've done this over 5 years ago. We've never gotten Craig Maddox. He unveiled his. Mike Golick Jr. tonight and the new Rapid City Rush coach moments ago. Go to the Nate Brown Show podcast, all right? It'll be up after the show tonight on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, wherever you get your podcast. Let's do this. Who's hot and who's not every night at this time? Brought to you by the Pizza Ranch. A reminder, they're at East 10th Street, Sioux Falls. Also in Brandon and 2 locations in Rapid City. The Pizza Ranch, home of everyone's favorite buffet, locally owned and operated. Hit the Pizza Ranch buffet tonight. In our Who's Hot category, I'm going to go with the Rapid City sports news. While I was out on vacation last week, there's a lot of support here early on. It sure looks like it's jumped some hurdles that kind of could get in the way. The mayor, Jason Solomon, announced a new indoor sports complex, at least the start of it. He's looking at finding some support and more support from the community, but this is a new indoor sports complex, and the announcement included a donation of land. Over 22 acres of land donated by Pete Lean and Sons, so that's a big start of it. So you got the land. There's a TIF in the planning by the Planning Commission, so that's a big part of this from the tax side of it. And then you've got the opportunity to get a little bit more support from the city council here, potential vision funds here. So this is a good start. There's going to be some more opportunities to look at, okay, how do they do this? And the city council is going to have to vote on some things. But a big start for the new indoor sports complex could be a big one for Rapid City. How big? 8 basketball courts, 32 pickleball courts, 16 volleyball courts, indoor turf space the size of a full-size soccer field. So that's the big announcement. Rapid City Indoor Sports Complex getting off the ground so far. In our Pizza Ranch Who's Not category tonight, another investigation into sports gambling. This time, Detroit Pistons guard Malik Beasley. Did you see this? Allegations that he may have been involved in some sports gambling on prop bets like certain points, certain scores, certain rebounds. How does an NBA guy potentially have to do sports gambling things? He makes enough money as it is, you would think. Stay tuned on that. Federal authorities investigating Malik Beasley of the Pistons. We're out the door. Thanks for listening to the Nate Brown Show. The podcast going up right now. See you tomorrow.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Our locally owned Ace stores are committed to helping our neighbors